About 1 in 3 veterans know that they can buy a home with 0 down payment. Even fewer know that their housing allowance can count as income. If you served, this is the video somebody should have handed you the day you left. I'm Connor Webb, mortgage loan originator here in Clark County, Washington State. I work with a ton of veterans, and the most painful part of my job is meeting somebody who served, earned a real benefit, and never used it because nobody explained it to them. Today, I'm gonna break down the biggest VA loan myths that are still costing veterans the home they already paid for. 0 down, no PMI, the BAH secret, and a couple more nobody talks about. This is the channel where I dig into Clark County, Washington, mortgages, real estate, the local stuff that actually affects your money. If that's useful to you, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video. And the one most veterans don't know about, the one in the title, the BAH secret. That one is buried so deep that even some lenders don't ask about it. Stay with me for that part. Let's start with the biggest one. You don't need a down payment for a VA loan. 0, none. The full purchase price can be financed. This is the most underused benefit in housing. A conventional loan typically asks for 3 to 20% down. On a $500,000 home, that is anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000 of cash you have to come in with before you can even close. VA wipes that out. There is a funding fee depending on your situation, and I want to be straight about that. The VA funding fee is a one-time cost that goes back into the program to fund future veterans loans. It can be rolled into the loan so you still don't have to bring it in as cash. And if you have a service-connected disability rating, in most cases that fee is waived entirely. We'll come back to that one. Conventional borrowers who put less than 20% down usually pay private mortgage insurance every month. That's PMI. On a $500,000 loan, that's often a couple $100 a month, sometimes more, on top of your mortgage. VA loans have no PMI. Not a smaller version, not a different name for it, 0. Over the first 5 years of a mortgage, that alone could be thousands of dollars that stays in your pocket. Real money every month just for using the benefit you earn. This is one of the most expensive misunderstandings. People hear that VA is a one-time benefit. They used it on their first home a decade ago and they assume they're locked out forever. They go conventional for their next purchase and they leave the no PMI, 0 down benefit on the table. The VA benefit is actually reusable. As long as you've paid off the previous VA loan, or in some cases even while you still have one open, you can use it again. There are entitlement rules and we'd walk through your specific situation, but the headline is simple. It's not one and done. Here's the one in the title. If you're still serving and receive a basic allowance for housing, your BAH can count as qualifying income on your mortgage application. That sounds technical, so let me make it real. Say your base pay alone might qualify you for a $300,000 home. Add in the BAH to the calculation and you might be able to qualify for $400 or $450. Same person, same paycheck. The difference is whether the lender even thinks to look at it. And here's the issue. A lot of lenders don't. They run your base pay, they call it a day, and the BAH just sits there. About 6 in 10 veterans have never been told their housing allowance counts. That's a benefit you literally receive every month, being completely ignored on the one application where it matters most. This one had some truth 20 years ago. It doesn't really hold up in 2026. The data shows VA loans closing on timelines very close to conventional loans. The horror stories about appraisals and weird seller paperwork are mostly outdated. Where VA offers actually run into trouble is when the listing agent or the seller doesn't understand them, which is a different problem. The fix is having a buyer's agent and a lender who actually know VA loans. When the team knows what they're doing, your offer competes. A quick side that veterans specifically should know. VA loans are themselves assumable, meaning a qualified buyer can take over your existing VA loan, often at the lower rate you locked in. That's a real perk when rates are higher today than they were when you bought. I broke down how assumable mortgages work in another video, and it's especially worth the watch if you're a veteran thinking about selling or a buyer who's open to taking over an existing loan. Link to that video is in the description. One more that almost nobody mentions. If you have a service-connected disability rating, the VA funding fee can be waived entirely. On a $500,000 home, that fee can be 5 figures. Skipping it is real money at closing. If you have a disability rating, even a partial one, ask. The benefit exists, it is yours, don't pay it because nobody bothered to check. And to keep this honest, VA isn't always the right call for every situation. The funding fee, if you don't qualify for the waiver, adds to your loan balance. VA is built on a primary residence, not an investment property. And in some condo developments, the project itself has to be VA or government approved, which can limit options. So it's a powerful tool. It's not a magic wand. And for any veterans watching who are thinking about moving to Clark County, Washington, the bigger picture matters too. I made a Vancouver versus Portland video that breaks down why so many people are crossing the river right now, what the lifestyle differences actually look like, and where it makes sense for your situation. Worth a watch alongside this one. The link to that one will also be in the description. So if you served, here's what I want you to do. Don't let one bad experience with a lender or a piece of bad advice from somebody who wasn't actually a veteran loan expert talk you out of the benefit you earned. There's a link in the description to set up a no pressure clarity call. We'll look at your actual situation, your entitlement, your BAH, your disability rating if you have one, and tell you honestly what you qualify for. If this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe. I make these so veterans don't leave what they earned on the table. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.